Let's go the beginning, right? The inspiration. I want to know, like, how did where did it come from? How did you start with wine? How did you decide this?
Well, I was a very confused college student in Toronto, in Canada. I had a dream while growing up because of my parents, especially my father, that I want to be a scientist. So my major in University of Toronto was astrophysics.
Wow.
And my minor was in mathematics. I was fairly good at the beginning. I even had a scholarship. I mean, U of T was University of Toronto was very highly regarded, especially for mathematics and physics.
Right.
And but several years down the study, I get very confused. When you are young, you start to drink. I was big fan for live music. I have very long hair, longer than now. I know I have long hair today.
You had short hair when I saw you first, right? Back in the Peninsula days.
Yes, but I used to have very long hair to here, and go to live music, get drunk every day.
Right.
So life was not going nowhere for a couple of years. I very much enjoyed that period. Hanging out with friends, listening to music, drinking all the time. It's not a positive example. I was a very good example of bad example.
Right.
So, but that led to that I was not very successful in my academic studies.
Right.
And one day I just wake up and say, I need to change my life.
What age was that? I mean, when did you get that realization?
I was 22.
22.
I was one year away from graduating. I don't know how can I graduate, but I was 1 year away. And I just said, since I like to drink so much, I need to find a way or find a job or career that I can make a living by drinking.
That's interesting.
That's the original purpose. That's it. I mean, there are no fancy bottles, great dinners, wonderful chefs. No, it's just a singular purpose. I'm so much into drinking that I need to find a job that I make a living by drinking. And I'm going through all the options. I cannot do hard liquor anymore. I had done enough. There's no craft beer 20 years ago. I did a big cocktail, but I cannot imagine I still doing cocktail, shaking the Jagger when I was 30 or 50. So I said, okay, let me do wine. I did not even know what his Pinot Noir was.
Right. So
it's a classic, you get married and you fall in love later.
Right.
So I decided to study wine, but I know the basics are important. I was doing science, right? So I know the basic fundamental foundation is very important. So I studied in viticulture and winemaking degree.
So where was that, in Canada?
In Canada, in Niagara College, because all my drinking buddies there. So I don't want to move to another country. So it's 2-hour drive from Toronto. It's the heart of Canadian wine industry. So there's a college called the Niagara College at the Niagara Falls. They had a 2-year program to teach you everything from viticulture, how to plant the vineyard, all the way how to make wine and sell wines. So I did that program. Along the way, I found out, there's even better career option called sommelier. You can make money not only by drinking, but also by eating. Because a couple of my friends in the winemaking school, they were sommeliers before on the floor. And they started also, I want to make the wine that I like. So they come to winemaking degree. So I do the other way. I was in winemaking degree. Then I said, maybe when I graduate from winemaking, I want to be a sommelier. And that's what I did. So during the weekday, I was studying winemaking and viticulture at the Niagara College. On the weekend, I drove 2 hours back to Toronto to take all the wine course that I can, to taste as many things as I can, to learn as many as I can, to get familiar with wines. So after I graduated from college, I did 1 year in the one of the best winery in Canada called Clos Jordan. Very Burgundian-driven, single vineyard, Pinot Chard. And I worked there, supposedly be a 3 months harvest, but I ended up working there for 1 year.
Wow.
Then I went back to Toronto, started my hospitality career at a restaurant called Canoe, which was rated the best in Toronto. But I started as a dishwasher, food runner, at the pass.
Old school, like really learning the basics.
It's teamwork.
Right.
You have to be good at every single position before you're being good at the sommelier. So did there for 1.5 years. Then went to a smaller bistro, but a very good French bistro. And I was in charge of one list until 2009. I came back to Shanghai for the job at the Peninsula Shanghai for the opening. Yeah.
You went from, and then you were the opening. Chief sommelier for the
Chief
Peninsula.
sommelier. I started on July 23rd, 2009, and I worked with entirely complete 3 years, all the way to 2012, until in July 2012, until I was being recruited by Shangri-La to be their group one director.
Wow.
So then in 2012, I was 31 years old. I went to Hong Kong, based in Slim, in Hong Kong, Shangri-La head office, to be in charge of the whole one program for the group, 100 hotels, opening, sommelier team, strategy, and all this. And I went solo in 2019, but with a lot of blessing from the Shangri-La family and the Kwok family. They encouraged me to do my own things, and they support me at that time. Also said, okay, Yang, you go to do your own things. We know that you have a lot of ambition, a lot of plans, and let's work as a consultant role. So I signed a 3-year consultant with Shangri-La, then renewed for 1 more year, even through the pandemic. So that started in 2019. I was a chief consultant for the wine group, program for the whole Shangri-La group. But that time I started to venture into to do my own things.
So now let's go back a bit. The Master Sommelier. I mean, I had a friend of mine. I went to his house, and he was doing the WSET number 3.
Yes.
Which is like already very high level, very hard. And I remember he had cases and cases of wines, different varietals.
Yes.
To taste, right?
Yes.
Now, then of course there's WSET 4, but the Master Sommelier is another level, right? And it's so difficult. And I know some, and I won't name people, but I know a few that I've tried, and unfortunately they've not made it. Right? Now, you are the first Master Sommelier in China ever.
Yes, I'm the first in China.
And now, how many do we have now together in mainland China?
In mainland, only me, still me.
Still you, right?
Yeah. So I passed in 2017. I was the first Chinese Master Sommelier in the whole world. And last year, one of our friends in Taiwan passed it. So he's the second one. But,
so that's the thing. And I find it, first of all, I mean, Master Sommelier I started, this pod called Master's Table.
Yes.
And I thought, and I'm very blessed because we have so many great masters that already want to be on the podcast.
Yeah.
But then with you is actually you came to mind straight away because you're a real title Master Sommelier for the Master's Table. So I thought, tell us or tell me, what does it take to do that? I mean, I guess when I listen to you, definitely you got the intellect. I mean, you've got the passion, the kind of intellect of studying,
yes.
Right? But I'm sure there's a lot of hard work, a lot of trial and error that you had to do.
Well, yes, but during the moment, it's both suffer but also satisfaction that you are learning something, right? But after you pass the exam, you look back, you think, this is okay, it's not so hard. But yes, as you said, Christopher, it's the highest rated or claimed certification you can get in the world of wine. I think at this moment, there's less than 300 in the whole world. You go through different levels. That I think my advantage, and all the Chinese, we are very good at studying, right? But my advantage is because my background in, even though I did not graduate from physics degree, but I know you have to study in a logical way.
Right.
Not only memorizing all the appellations, all the laws, all the different characteristics of vintage, but you have to understand it. You have to put them in the context that's why I love teaching so much. Because when you teach, you have to let your audience or students understand very quickly in a logical way.
Right.
If you cannot talk logically, they cannot understand. So when I try to study, I put everything, all the information together, and I study them logically. I try to understand them instead of just memorize them. And I think at the beginning it's a suffer, but later on, it makes your life easier. But more importantly, you need to know how to focus. There's so many things in our life.
Right.
You have a Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Letter Red Book, Bilibili, everything. You have to block yourself, and you have to learn how to study with a little segment of time on the subway, on the flight, or anyway, and then come back
focus.
and focus. Yeah, but it's a blessing. It's a blessing. I mean, people say when you do what you love, you don't work, right? So that's what we do. Yeah.
And then, so what kept you motivated to? Because how long does it take to pass the masters?
There's 4 levels in the exam. The first level is called introductory. The second level is called certified. The third level is called advanced sommelier, and last level is called master sommelier. From level 1 to level 4, which the last level master sommelier, it took me 10 years. I did my level 1 in New York in 2007. Also in July, I remember very, very vividly. I took a 10-hour bus trip from from Toronto to New York. Then it took me 10 years and passed my Master Sommelier in 2017 in London. Yeah. So it's a long journey, but it's very rewarding. Yeah.
And then how, any advice, like if someone wants to do that, any advice on how to start or not to stop? Because I know a lot of people have tried and they have to give up. Because I think if you take it too many times, you cannot continue.
You have to repeat and all this. I think the first thing is there are no studies to be your second job.
Right.
You have your day job, and studying, tasting, just immerse yourself in wine should be your second job. There is no second option. There is no balance between family, work, and study. It should be just work and study. And the second of my advice is treat it as an extension of your work.
Right.
You should be good at it because you are good at what you do on the floor or as a wine director. That should be your priority. If you're good at them, it's easier for you to pass the exam. It's not the other way around. Many people think, oh, I pass the exam, I can be better at my job. No. Work, study, exam, and the competition should be an extension of your work,
right?
Not the other way around.
Now, when when they told you that's it, you are Master Sommelier, right? How did you feel? And still, how do you feel now?
Well, it's getting old because how many years? 8 years since I passed.
All right.
But at that moment, I was very happy. You accomplished something, because we're going forward so fast. And one moment like this happened, you stop, you look back, all the journey, you pat yourself, okay, at least something you have achieved, right? But more importantly, I think I tell you the truth, at that time, I have only 2 thoughts. One is my parents, my family, the people who love me, I made them proud.
Yeah.
That's very important for me. And second thing, I said, okay, finally, I don't need to study the wines I don't like to drink anymore. And I don't need to study the region that I don't like.
Right.
I don't need to go into drink so much of the wines that personally I don't like the style.
Right.
Finally, I can focus on the wines I like, the regions I really love, and I can talk about the wine in a way that I like. I describe wine as music, as poem,
right.
as painting, but in the exam you cannot do it. Right. So finally I can do it. And so I tell them, it's true, you do the whole day exam. At about 6 or 5 o'clock, you receive the result. We had a toast with all the candidates.
So where was it?
In London.
Okay.
I passed in Palma in London. So that year was very lucky. 3 of us passed.
Wow.
Usually it's only 1 or 2, right? 3 of us passed. So,
and then how many were doing the exam?
We have 30-something or 40, yeah. The pass rate is very low, naturally.
Right.
So we had a toast and everything. Okay, nice to meet you. So we had to all go back to our home country, right? It's people from all over the world. Then I went to Chinatown in London. I had a bowl of Lanzhou la mian,
right,
and 2 Qingdao beer.
Yeah,
that's it. And go home and crash.
On this, I'm interested to learn from you about the Chinese food pairing. Or food pairing with Chinese food.
Yes.
What are the kind of must do that you think about?
Well, I always say the first, it's just like the movie Fight Club, right? The first rule of Fight Club, you don't talk about Fight Club, right? But I think the first rule is no rules.
No rules.
You need to be brave. You need to be bold, and you have to try everything. You really don't know how it works until you put it in the mouth. But I think when you pair with wine, with Chinese cuisine, different with Western cuisine, that ingredient is the main thing you look at. In China, there's 3 other things I always look at besides ingredient. One is the knife skill. You know, in Western cuisine, for example, we serve a beef,
Right.
it's steak or stewed and all this. But in China, you can have a slice of beef,
Right.
almost like noodles,
Right.
or you can chop up
Right.
minced beef.
Right.
It changes the texture completely, right?
So the cutting.
Cutting,
Yeah.
that's one thing I look at. The second is the cooking method. You know, we have so many cooking methods: blanch, poach, you know, raw, stir fry, quick fry, everything, right? So the cooking method really change as well, right? For example, beef, when you just poach it, you compare it with white wine, no problem at all. And the third thing is sauce. You know, Chinese is we are very talented at different sauce, just like French cuisine.
Right. Yeah,
right?
I was going to talk about this.
Yeah, so saucier is very important.
Right.
So, for example, a lot of fish, we have a certain sauce that you can mix the fish puree with the red wine.
Right.
So that's the three things I look at besides ingredients.
You know, it's interesting. So I'm a certified French chef diploma, right?
Okay.
I started from the age of 14 to 19. And one of the things is the sauces. And when I actually did, during COVID, I did WSET #2 during COVID just to refresh myself. Because I go to all these wine dinners and all these things, but I didn't have a proper methodology to describe my feelings for the wines. And really what I took out of this is I loved when you describe, like a medium to long finish, for example, on the wine, so you get it, you can feel it. And now it helps me to describe sauces.
Yes.
Because sauces, it's like, especially like you said, the French and the Chinese sauces are one of the tricks to kind of, like supreme gastronomy.
Exactly.
Somehow.
Yeah. And I think that's important because during our consultancy to all these Chinese restaurants, we also give
feedback to them.
Not only feedback, but we give the chef wine courses. So all these young chefs, they are timid to learn about wine, but we help them to learn wine, and they understand the flavor profile, and it gives us so much confidence when they present the guest. Okay, this is the wine I like.
Right.
Particularly pair with well with my dish. Yeah.
So then they get the confidence. Then they can be more experimental. Right?
Exactly, and no one sells wine better than the chef.
Right.
You imagine chef is cooking for all the guests. Says, okay, I tried 100 wines. This one is exactly the best for this food. Everyone buy it.
I love this. This is a good one. The chef to recommend the wine.
No one can sell better.